It's hard, really, to fight people who have a very, very entrenched ideology. Trust me, I know. A lot of people don't realise that when I very first started my YouTube channel, I used to originally start to try and, I took it upon myself to think that you could convince conspiracy theorists that they were actually wrong and debunk them on it. Um, Needless to say, I have encountered a lot of very, very, very dogmatic conspiracy theorists back in that day. To a point, many people often say that I should be commenting in the YouTube comments. Well, trust me, that's what broke me essentially, commenting with many YouTube conspiracy theorists. That's why I don't go down to the comments, even though I know that I probably should to help grow my channel. But now we're entering this very interesting period where not only is Brexit not, shall we say, a low level ideology, it is also a high level ideology of where you have people in government who really have drank the Brexit Kool-Aid. And because they've drank this Kool-Aid, there is no Brexit policy. It just doesn't exist, so we can't talk about it. And to try and figure out what happens post-Brexit, I can't tell you. Not even someone from the government can tell you, because this policy just doesn't exist. The idea of essentially Brexit, to break it down into its simplest form, is that somehow Britain leaves the EU and somehow magically everything gets better. That is what we're dealing. People who are, dealing with magical thinking, and if you don't believe in Britain, what does that mean? Believe in Britain? That doesn't have any policy attached to it. But we are about to embrace chaos and misery on the likes we haven't seen for years and even decades. So this comes from The Guardian, and it talks about exactly this. So is Britain really about to embrace chaos and misery for the sake of Brexit dogma? British businesses and finance are holding their breath. Few can quite believe that a British government could choose to drive the British economy this close to the brink. Surely no sane government entrusted with our collective well-being could calmly contemplate imposing on its citizens immense trade disruption, transport chaos, shortages in medicine, fresh foods and key technologies. Then there is the rise in unemployment created by 2 lockdowns and widespread bankruptcies. Even a minimalist deal, as John Major said last week, will be far more brutal than anyone actually expects. And yet, for what? A utopian conception of sovereignty that even in the fully flush of empire, never truly actually had. Surely rationality must prevail, and a deal that goes well beyond the skinny Canada-style deal with the EU, which Boris Johnson says is all he wants, will be struck. But here we are, as I write, with days to complete negotiations and secure ratification. Nobody knows whether there will be a no deal or a Canada, which is barely better. The reasons are well rehearsed. A reckless, unfocused, Brexit-obsessed Prime Minister, a Tory party in thrall to its Brexiteer ultras, a lapdog right-wing media, and too many of the potential countervailing forces from the opposition through to businesses itself are afraid of offering high-profile arguments for something better out of fear of being branded and cast as undemocratic Ramonas. Thus, the obvious goes unsaid. Britain has no option but to engage extensively with the continent of which it is part. It always has. It always will. Global Britain is just another vainglorious slogan. Whatever happens on the 1st of January is but the beginning of another chapter in Britain's relationship with Europe. Of course, we will have to strike trade bargains on everything from organic food to cars, equally with services, whether we're talking trade in data or mutual recognition of audit standards. There will have to be an accommodation with the 450 million people on our doorstep. And because they are part of a bigger unit, they will get more of their way than we will ours. Only Brexit ideologues in the same la-la land as Donald Trump, in their denial of reality, could think otherwise. 3 weeks ago, the outgoing Director General of the CBI, Carolyn Fairbairn, did manage to gather an astonishing 71 trade associates and professional bodies encompassing virtually the entire British economy to jointly insist on an ambitious trade deal and warn of the consequences of a no deal. Steve Elliott, the CEO of the Chemical Industries Association, says, as we are the leading manufacturing exporter, we need that deal. From Ian Wright, the CEO of the Food and Drink Association, said no deal would put at risk the choice, quality and affordability of food and drink. Dave Wells, the CEO of Logistics UK, says a deal is vital to keep trucks moving. Mike Hawes, speaker for the motor industry, says only an ambitious deal will safeguard livelihoods and drive investment. There was more in the same vein from farmers, chartered accountants, the pharmaceutical industry, ceramics, the city, motor manufacturers, airports, airlines, energy, creative industries, high-tech industries, even country landowners and the security industry added their weight. I can't remember such an urgency and unanimity from every nook and cranny of British industries. For their pains, it was hardly reported. And yet, even if there is no deal by the 1st of January, with all the immediate chaos it will cause, there will have to be some arrangements negotiated over 2021. As the Environmental Secretary George Eustace conceded to the BBC speaker to the BBC in September, arguing that the intransigent EU would by then have to come to its senses. More to the point, so would the British government. A comprehensive deal encompasses goods, services and regulatory standards in which the interests of the EU are respected and the integrity of the Good Friday Agreement is upheld as an inevitability. Johnson simply lies, as John Major says when he declares all Britain wants and needs is a Canada-style, no-frills deal. There has to be more. On data alone, the heart of the 21st century economy, a skinny deal is not remotely enough. The Japan-UK trade deal drops necessary privacy and protection standards for data trade, again barely reported. The EU cannot allow Britain's financial services industries and high-tech companies to opt out of conforming to EU data standards. Otherwise, Britain just becomes a global washing hub. Without a deal on data standards, the International Director and the Financial Conduct Authority warned last week that British financial services stand on a cliff edge. So does virtually every British business deploying data. And number 10, the number 10 court is death to all of this, of course. Grassroots for Europe, a network of over 200 pro-EU groups around the country, is trying, to its credit, to raise the salience at least with its Voices for a Better Deal social media campaign, highlighting the concerns of business, finance, university, science and trade union leaders. It's a commentary on our times that before a national emergency, there is no sustained, high-profile effort to sound the alarm. In its absence, this is the best we have. This is the best we can actually do. The Labour Party apparently is even debating voting for Johnson's deal to show that it has left Remain behind. It would be a categorically error to do so. This fiasco must be owned by Johnson and the Conservative Party. Labour's role in the years ahead will be to campaign on the endless issue after issue on data, financial, standards equivalence, transport, logistics, drug safety, for access to the common understandings and deals, culminating ultimately in either a special association relationship with the EU or full membership. Brexit Tories and the Trumpites can only defy the tide. Truth, and with it our prosperity, demands differently. You know, that's easily the most powerfulest comment we've gone through, I think, over these past 4 years. We are standing on an absolute awful cliff edge. Every single sector saying we need a comprehensive deal, and Boris Johnson is going for this skinny Canada style deal, which is almost no better than a no deal. It blocks vital industries, as we've gone through there, from even having access to European markets without increased red tape, which will basically make them uncompetitive in a market of over 550 million people. This has gotten to a point where it is just sheer madness. And I do worry, as was said there, that Labour is discussing even voting for Johnson's deal. In no right mind should Labour vote for Johnson's deal. Let Johnson and the Conservatives own this. Let them be the arbiters of this, because if the Labour does sign up to the deal, then they have to take responsibility for this coming mess as well, and they will not look good either. It just becomes more and more of a very more worrying scenario, and we have got hard times ahead. And if I've always said to a lot of people, enjoy these last few good years of normality, because they are about to end on the 1st of January. And as I've often said to people before on this channel, Brexit dies on the 1st of January 2020. It had no life beyond the magical wonderland of living in the Brexiteer fantasies. So with that, thanks for watching. Please do hit that like and share button. And of course, if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link. And thank you very much to the people that do support me that way. So with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.